How did the Blue World Order come together?
We did a parody of Kiss one time. Me, Meanie, and Stevie, we were always doing parodies. We did a parody of Kiss. We blew the roof off the place. We came in the back. Bubba Dudley was a huge Kiss mark, and I remember him looking at us saying, man, the only thing you guys could do bigger than that would be the NWO. And I was 100% set against it because of the most powerful faction in the business. And Raven comes over, he's like, oh my God, that'd be great. They would love that. And I'm looking at Stevie and Meanie like, we can't impersonate these guys, man. We don't even know them. And Scotty's like, oh, no. I talked to Hall and Nash and Hogan. Now I look back and knowing that the business the way I do, I would welcome it if I was those guys because it just put more spotlight on them and it got them over. They loved it. And so we said, okay. So we started talking about roles. Stevie was going to be Diesel. Meanie was going to be Razor. Originally, they wanted me to be Virgil. And Scotty was like, he can't be Virgil. He's got to be Hogan. And I remember, I love him, but Stevie was like, well, he can't be Hogan because if he is, they're going to think that he's the leader of the flock. And I'm the leader of the flock. And Raven's like, I don't care. And Stevie's like, yeah, you're right. So we put it together. We divvied up our roles. I spent about a week making all the signs and the picket signs and stuff. And we did it in November to Remember. I want to say it was 96. And we came out picketing. It was supposed to be one night. And I remember we did it the one night. And at the end of that night, we went up to Paul. He couldn't believe it. It was a home run. And he said, I think we're going to run with this a little bit longer. We said, why? He goes, we just sold out of the entire, we sold out 144 t-shirts in one night. Well, a gross. And we were like, what? Now, I will admit, we didn't make peanuts off of those shirts. Everybody think there was a time in wrestling where you could not turn on a wrestling show, whether it was Tape Trading or Memphis or any wrestling show around the world, and not see BWO shirts in the audience. They were everywhere. They were like the Bullet Club shirts back then, or the Stone Cold 316 shirts. The BWO shirts were everywhere. We were selling out 200-300 of those a weekend. We didn't make a killing on those. The company did. We didn't. I wish we did, but...
You even saw some in Canada before ECW came to Canada?
Yep. They were the Colt Underground shirt. Like, if you had that, you were in. Like, now it's the Bullet Club shirt. Before that, I don't even know what the last one before that was. I mean, it was the Austin 316 shirt, the NWO shirt, but the BWO shirt, man, that was a huge, like, having that shirt, people were like, dude, this is awesome. And we ran with that for like a year and a half, 2 years. To this day, like, we did WrestleMania 2 years ago in Orlando. We had legitimately, this is from my mouth, this is the promoter, WrestleCon. He said, you guys had literally one of the longest lines all day. We don't get together a whole lot. We all pretty much look like we did back then. We're not drug addicts. We're successes outside of wrestling. The people enjoy that.
Did Hogan ever see it?
Yeah, dude, he did. And it was the scariest moment of my life. It was not until we redid it in WWE. And I kicked myself in the ass for not taking a picture. It was the SummerSlam where the BWO was wrestling against the Mexicools, Great American Bash, and Hogan was wrestling Shawn Michaels on that pay-per-view. I'm all Hoganed out, have the full gear on, the weight belt, the boas, the beard, all of that, and I leave our locker room, and I'm walking around backstage not really looking for Hogan. Like, I had never crossed paths with him in the outfit. So I go into this one little side room, and the only one in this whole freaking room, and he's in the mirror like fixing his do-rag, was Hogan. I just stop like a deer in headlights, and I look at him, and he just stops and looks in the mirror, like looking at the mirror, looking at me. He goes, that's a good look, brother. And I just walked up to him. I said, he's like, nah, man. He goes, I used to see it all the time. You guys crushed it, man. You guys did great. He goes, I love watching Meanie dance. He goes, you guys did us proud, like putting it over. Man, besides not getting a picture with Trump when Trump did WrestleMania with us, I wish I had just stopped and had the ball. You're living in a bubble in WWE. We can get into that more, but at that time, I was so petrified and just walked on eggshells all the time that looking back, man, I would have done anything to get a photographer to take a picture of the two of us. That would have been a cool picture to have.
And for the One Night Stand pay-per-view, you actually appeared as Nova. Were you surprised that...
No, because Stevie had called me, Dave Lagana had called me about 2 weeks before that and said, hey, we're bringing back the BWO for a night at One Night Stand. And I thought I could get a little nostalgia run, but I was very emphatic. I said, I don't want to stop being Simon Dean. He said, no, you'll be both. And I could be wrong about this, and then you can check the research, or fans, you guys can chime in on this. I think I'm the only wrestler in the history of wrestling who literally played two different characters on the same federation, on the same show, but they were not supposed to be the same guy playing them. You had the three faces of Foley. Everybody knew it was Mick Foley.
Yeah.
But in this case, when I was out there as Simon Dean, I was a totally different person in that outfit than I was being Hollywood Nova. They were two different people They were treated, because I remember Taz one time telling me in the production meeting he was going to make an allusion during my Simon Dean match, like, hey, that guy looks familiar. And Vince said, no, they're two different people. And Taz said, I looked at Vince, I said, brother, I've known this kid since he was 19 years old. Like, how can I do that? And Vince said, nope, two different characters. So I think I'm the only guy that ever played two characters. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I don't recall.
Stevie too, but Stevie was this big Stevie Cool, or he was Stevie Richards. It's not that much of a stretch. I was Simon Dean villain, Hollywood Nova babyface.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, I mean, somebody can look that up and prove me wrong, but I think I am.
And it seems like the fans even didn't really harass.
Dude, a lot of them didn't know. I swear to God they didn't know. And we went out there, did it for a little while. I knew it wasn't going to last.